Hey y'all, Noel here. I've been playing No Man's Sky's latest update for about a week. It's called Worlds Part 2. Guys, Hello Games must have been listening to my prayers with this one because it's hands down the biggest update we've had in a good while, and it literally feels like a love letter to people who like exploration in the game. We've had base building updates, we've had vehicle updates, we've had settlement updates, but it's rare that we get so many exploration updates one after the other, and this one's a banger, guys. 100% free. No DLC, no paid microtransactions, none of that bullshit. We've got brand new star systems, deeper oceans, and a ton of new biomes to explore, so let's jump right into it. Firstly, the universe grew by a few trillion stars. These are the new purple star systems. Firstly, let's talk about where they came from. For a good while, people speculated that these phantom star systems in-game that were not accessible by normal means were maybe for a future update. And I even mentioned that in my 10 things you didn't know you could do in No Man's Sky video. There are stars in this game that can't be reached by starship or by portal. The community calls these phantom stars. The universe of No Man's Sky has literal millions of these hidden stars. Who knows? Maybe these were allotted for future star systems with new algorithms? I'm just guessing at this point. We may never know. Well, guess what, Passandolo? We eventually did know. We did not have to stay wondering. These new stars contain the biggest additions to the universe. Literally. Gas giants, titanic planets, and even water worlds. These planets are new and only in these purple star systems. Apart from being beautiful on a moon's horizon, these gas giants are even landable. You can land on their surface. Kind of unexpected, to be honest, but at the same time, I struggle to see how they would make that work with the current engine framework. If you could just fly above them and not land, I'm sure there would be more people complaining than how it is now. I'm fine with it. We're in a game where you could like ride a dragonfly and you could cook donuts and give it to an alien, so whoever's arguing about realism needs to kind of check their priorities a little bit. Similar in size are the titanic planets. The patch notes mention that they are 10 times bigger than the biggest ones from pre-update, so they make them just about the same size as your mom. These Titan planets benefit greatly from Sean Murray's new terrain technology. He mentioned in the showcase video that these new terrains are variable within these purple stars. They did that so that you could have like a new experience of exploring new terrain without messing with people's bases. I know some people did have their bases affected, but for the most part, terrain was unchanged. Let me tell you, the sense of scale in these new terrains can be breathtaking. There's new detail to the terrain, new texture. The variety has just exploded in general, for lack of a better word. Here I was in my uploads begging Hello Games for this kind of thing, to bring back moons with water, to mix in some crazy terrain like the old days without getting rid of the old and the new, you know, mixing it, making more variety in general. You can hear that in my No Man's Sky iceberg chart video. This entry is dedicated to mourning some of the variety that we have lost over the years. Don't get me wrong, we have a decent variety of biomes, colors, plants, creatures, and terrain, but I miss when dead planets used to be able to have water, and moons used to have water. I miss not knowing what planet's terrain was going to look like. We had some pretty interesting and unworldly terrain generation back then. By the way, love this comment.
By the end of this video, it went from a list of unknown facts to you whining and complaining, actual bitch content.
Alright fella, let's see what you got, content-wise. Guess what, buddy? You can suck it, because everything I've been asking for years has been added in this update. Let's go, guys. These new terrains also boast deeper oceans. It used to be that oceans could be like 200 meters, maybe 250 max if you like look for a cave. But any deeper than that was literally impossible in the No Man's Sky engine as it was. Now oceans in these purple star systems can be miles deep, deeper than the regular star systems. And the deepest ones can be found in the new oceanic worlds. A lot of these are completely landless, mind you, so it's making good use of that new technology where you can land on the water. The improved ocean lighting also gets darker as you go more deeper into these murky waters. And it slowly crushes your life support and hazard. It's crazy, so it's not just like visual, it also affects the gameplay in that sense. You have to either use your submarine or install a special technology to survive those immense pressures. Within these deeper oceans, you'll find plenty of new sea creatures, many new beautiful procedural monstrosities to find. We've got giant squids, we've got manta rays, we've got new tropical fishes that are all procedural hermit crabs.
Is that a man riding a shrimp?
Even seahorses swimming about. These new species also can be found in any color star system, by the way. You do not have to be in a purple star system to enjoy them. But the biggest ones are found in these ocean worlds, keep in mind. Thankfully, this update made swimming and driving the submarine way more fluid. pun intended. The Nautilon used to feel like moving through molasses in the wintertime, man. Not anymore. Existing star systems also get improvements to the variety in biomes. Not as drastically as the purple star systems, but for example, you can find new jungle planets in any star system with even denser foliage. And the patch notes mention that you can have different colors and species of tree per different jungles on a planet. I have yet to see that, but that would be pretty cool if there could be like almost multi-biome effect. You get what I'm saying? It could be the start of multi-biomes in the future. You never know. At this point, Hello Games keep cooking up these updates. You don't know if in a few months they might drop multi-biome planets or even like multiplayer ships where you could have more than one person in a ship. You don't know. You can't say no because they've proven time and time again they just keep adding crazy shit like this, and it's hard to not be surprised by these additions. I'm not gonna lie. However, the biggest changes to biome tech is what they call in the patch notes procedural biomes, found only in purple star systems. This is another win for Pasnolo. This was another thing I was bitching about in the iceberg video. I'm really curious why we have such a limited color set and limited everything, biome variety. We should have had procedural biomes already, I feel like, but that's enough ranting for me. Crazier color combinations, new plant assets. For example, I found that there are way more Ice Age looking frozen worlds, like with more icicles and more exotic alien kind of things. You know, you don't always have to just see the same Christmas tree kind of forest winter wonderland kind of thing. You get kind of bored of those things, man. Same thing with the toxic, with the radioactive superheated worlds. In Worlds Part 1 they were still refreshed a bit, so there's more procedural generation going on, more assets. Now they have even more assets, and not only that, procedural combinations of assets to make these new biomes even more interesting to seek out and find new varieties, you know? The planet's surfaces aren't all sunshine. New local hazards add a new challenge to your survival, or just fascinating phenomena to look at it depending on what you find. For example, our capital planet Effigy. Thank the Atlas. It's pretty much unchanged, but occasionally I get jump scared by these ball lightnings. That's a real thing, by the way, you can look it up. There's new drifting clouds of toxicity, pockets of fallout, geysers erupting underfoot. If there's one thing you can't say anymore is that these worlds are lifeless. Not only with the creatures and the plants, there's constant activity going on. For those people who have a very short attention span, there's planets that will be for you. And then there's other planets that are a little more chill, more calm if you don't like to be jump scared every few seconds. There's improved tornadoes. I was caught in one of those the other day. They're way less janky than they used to be. Gravity inversions, that's just the surface, guys. There's so many new effects, bizarre wonders that you can find that it just adds so much more to the exploration, on top of what we already have in the purple systems, because this is all across the universe. Along with the redone lighting system throughout the game, there's no ambient occlusion, so things look already more beautiful. But even more than that, the water was already beautiful from Worlds Part 1, but they added so much more to it now. They properly reflect terrain, planets in the sky, and even those breathtaking nebulas. And guys, the water is now dynamic. I mean, it always changed wave height and all that since Worlds Part 1, but now when a ship flies overhead, there's ripples. When you're gonna land, there's ripples. When you wade through it, when creatures take a dip, when raindrops fall, it all affects the water surface, and it just looks so incredible, guys. Like, Hello Games did not have to do this. Guys, we forgive you. It's been, what, almost 8 years now. You can stop now. You can move on to something else. I know you guys are working on Light No Fire, but the bangers just keep coming. I would have thought solely after release they would be slowing down or making smaller updates, but they've been just getting bigger and bigger and more generous. I'm not gonna lie. And never 1 cent was charged extra.
A creature feature featuring the creature.
Hello Games, I kind of wanna, I don't know how to say this. Why did you add titty monsters?
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
What the fuck? What is this thing? I've also heard rumors of glowing striders and like clear squids and wacky stuff that you've never seen in this game. So it's definitely stuff sprinkled in that we're gonna continue to find hundreds and thousands of hours of playing this game. Next, we got some sweet upgrades for your vehicles. The Colossus can now have a 3-slot refiner, so you don't have to be at your freighter or at your base to be refining complex recipes. You could all do that on the go. Exocraft now have flamethrowers, so that's a thing now. I don't need to explain why that's fucking awesome, you know, for Liberty and all. Burladice has a bug infestation, so don't mind me, I'm just gonna go over there and deal with that real quick. On the Starship and Multi-Tool side, you know, you could always have 12 ships in your collection now, but now they have cold storage, which means you could have 18 more in permanent storage where you can withdraw and put back in as many times as you want. So that's a total of 30 ship slots. I'm sure if you're a ship collector, you're super happy about this. I, for one, want to collect more Sentinel ships, and there's already so many variety of ships with Sentinel ships, living ships. There's so many new ships, and even the expedition rewards. But do keep in mind to take your cargo out, because once you put it into cold storage, those workers in the bays, they don't really understand what private property is. So yeah, you might want to store your lewd scrolls somewhere else so that other people not reading that shit, you know? A similar system was added to multi-tools, so 18 more multi-tool slots. This, in my opinion, is a little less needed, but it's still awesome because, like, multi-tool collectors, hey, if you want to have 5 alien multi-tools, each of them have a different primary weapon and all of them maxed out Atlas multi-tools. And even if they add more multi-tools in the future, now we have that excessive amount of slots for that, so that's awesome. In this update, quality of life has skyrocketed. We finally have one button inventory sorting. I mean, probably the most requested quality of life feature for a while now. And I can't imagine it's been too difficult to implement, but y'all beggars can't be choosers. I don't have to stare anymore at my unsorted pile of garbage in my inventory. Sometimes you don't want another full-time job just organizing all the crap you pick up in this game, you know, so this is a very underrated feature. It combines duplicate stacks, sorts them by name, by type, by cost, even surprisingly by the color of the background. So if you're very OCD about the colors, I've done that in the past. I can never keep up with the sorting, but now it's automatic. So kudos. I've had a big complaint ever since the Beyond update added cooking, mainly because it was cool and all to find the new ingredients and new recipes, but I found the buffs that they gave pretty underwhelming. Here's what I had to say about it in my review of the Beyond update. Here's another feature that doesn't really connect to the rest of the game in any way, but I wish it did. Cooking. There's many layers of recipes and ingredients, and I think it's pretty dope. It just needs a reason to exist. Even if they added a cooking minigame where you slice onions or something, anything. Because just throwing shit together in a space oven is just like refining with a different coat of paint. Although these foods do give small buffs and charge your suit's tech, a 10-second jetpack boost ain't worth cooking a whole ass meal. The buffs need to be more powerful, or they need to have like 5 or 10 minutes, because I'm not cooking all that. I'm not cooking that to just be able to run a little faster for like 20 seconds or use my jetpack unlimited for 10 seconds. I mean, come on. I feel like the food part of the game has been neglected ever since. I feel like it could use a lot of improvement, and it could actually be a fun part of the game. In short, for a lot of the buffs that cooking gives you, like eating the food, it doesn't make sense for the amount of time you have to invest into cooking. So this new ingester tech, what it does is you put a stack of food in there and it automatically eats it. It makes you eat it, I guess, force feeds it to you. And you could have that jetpack back to the pre-waypoint days, guys. You could just harvest some ingredients, you fry up some donuts, you cram them in your auto feeder, you got that big back on you. Don't ask me how eating donuts helps your jetpack get you off the ground better. I think it would be the opposite, but that's just me. Another pet peeve I've had is with this Gordon Ramsay wannabe motherfucker in the Anomaly. Firstly, this dude says some rude, hurtful shit about my cooking, dog. I'm just trying to make a living cooking pastries. What's the problem with that? I can live with him being hypercritical. What I can't live with is if I want to get nanites from my food, I have to turn them in one at a time. It's just not feasibly viable. It's just not. It's so much quicker to do any other nanite harvesting method but cooking. Worlds Part 2 adds a new feature where he can request a certain item and you could turn those in as a stack. So finally that criticism has been addressed. I can't wait to engage with that a little more. I could finally maybe cook in this game. Like ever since Beyond came out, I literally almost never touched the cooking system, and finally it has an actual purpose in game. And I really hope future updates continue to get existing content and tie it more well into the game, because one big criticism I do have of certain updates is, for example, the settlement system. It's fun to engage with, but it doesn't feel like No Man's Sky. It feels like a mobile game tacked onto the side of No Man's Sky, and it doesn't have any sort of actual implications gameplay wise with the rest of the game. So I hope maybe one day we could have updates that just sew these patchwork of shit all back together into something that's actually more of a game. And this update gives me good hopes that that's actually a thing that they're working on. Here's an underrated addition to this update: a new abandon mode in game. If you're a loner, you're going to be pretty happy about this. If you want to feel like you're actually going out and exploring, you're not just like tripping over supply drops and alien settlements left and right. Because like, I'm supposed to be discovering this planet. Why are the aliens already here? Hey, this mode is for you. Hello Games definitely took note that the Adrift Expedition was received pretty well. That's when this style of universe was first debuted as a limited time mode, and now it's a permanent feature. If you don't want no NPCs anywhere, you could just turn on this, It turns off your tutorial, it turns off your story. Just go out there and be alone. Sometimes you just want to be alone in your thoughts, you know? It's okay to be alone. All in all, my thoughts on this update are purely biased because I'm just so happy that my biggest gripes were addressed in this update. I'm sure if this wasn't my gripe, it would still be a banger of an update, but that just makes it 10 times better for me. Absolute banger of an update. Trillions of new planets with wilder, more varied worlds to explore. New life throughout the universe, new vistas, new water tech. This overhaul makes exploring and surviving on these worlds just a real thrill again for me. I'd love to know what your favorite addition is down in the comments, guys. I'll be making a video soon covering the more underrated and less notable changes in the update. Keep your eyes peeled for the new Titan expedition too. It releases soon and it gives you this sick looking manta ray ship. Guys, it's a sexy ship. It makes these ballsack looking ships just not good in comparison. Hey, if you're a living ship fan, I'm sorry, but they're just not that good looking. They look kind of nasty. Some of them look alright color wise, but most of them are just ugh. But in the meantime, if you're puzzled over how to get to these purple star systems, make sure to check this video right here on the screen and I'll break it down for you. That's all for today, y'all. This has been Nolo. Peace out. Also, there's a new subreddit, Brawler Republic. Join it. Bye.